Glad you're here. We're diving into some strange and unsettling stories tonight. Just sit back, get comfortable, and let's see where these mysteries take us. It's May 3rd, 2007, in a quiet resort town in Portugal. The sun has set, the air is warm, and families are settling in for the night. But in one small apartment, something unthinkable is about to happen. A little girl, not even 4 years old, vanishes from her bed. Her name is Madeleine McCann. Her disappearance will spark one of the most intense, polarizing investigations in modern history. Was she taken? Did she wander off? Or is the truth darker than anyone wants to believe? I'm pulling apart the pieces of this case, step by step, because the questions still linger. What really happened to Madeleine? And why, after all these years, are we still searching for answers? It's a warm evening in Praia da Luz, a small coastal town in Portugal's Algarve region. The McCann family, Jerry, Kate, and their 3 kids, are on vacation at the Ocean Club, a family-friendly resort. Madeleine, their eldest, is 3, almost 4, with bright blonde hair and a shy smile. Her twin siblings, Sean and Amelie, are 2. The family staying in apartment 5A, a ground floor unit with a patio facing the street. That night, Jerry and Kate join friends for dinner at a tapas restaurant about 50 yards away. The kids are asleep in the apartment. The group agrees to take turns checking on the children every 20 to 30 minutes. It's a casual setup, one they've done before. At 9:05 p.m., Jerry checks on the kids. Madeleine is sleeping soundly, her favorite toy, Cuddle Cat, beside her. Everything seems fine, but here's the thing. The patio door is unlocked. It's a detail that will haunt this case forever. This chapter ends with a pause, letting the weight of that unlocked door sink in. At 10 p.m., Kate goes to check on the kids. She walks into the apartment and something feels off. The bedroom door is slightly ajar. She pushes it open and sees Madeleine's bed. Empty. Her heart drops. She checks the twins, still asleep. She looks around the apartment, calling Madeleine's name. Nothing. Panic sets in. Kate runs back to the restaurant, screaming, "Madeleine's gone! Someone's taken her!" The group scrambles, searching the apartment, the resort, the streets. By 10:15, the local police are called. The quiet night in Praia da Luz is about to explode into chaos. The local police arrive quickly. They search the apartment, finding no signs of a break-in. The window in the children's bedroom is open, the shutter raised, but it's unclear if that's how someone got in or out. Officers question Kate and Jerry, who are distraught, barely able to process what's happening. Friends and resort staff join the search, combing the streets and beaches. By midnight, the area is buzzing with police, volunteers, and media. A local woman posts about the disappearance on a community forum, and the news starts to spread. But here's the problem. The first hours are critical in a missing child case, and already, things are slipping through the cracks. The clock is ticking, and every second feels like a missed chance. By morning, the case is international news. Madeleine's face, those big blue-green eyes, is everywhere. The Portuguese police focus on the abduction theory, but they're stretched thin. Praia da Luz is a small town, and the force isn't equipped for a case this big. They interview witnesses, including a friend of the McCanns who saw a man carrying a child near the apartment around 9:15 p.m. The description is vague. A man in his 30s, dark hair, carrying a child in pajamas. It's a lead, but it's shaky. Meanwhile, Kate and Jerry are desperate, pleading for information on TV. The world is watching, but no one knows where Madeleine is. It's hard not to wonder, was the answer right there, in those early moments? Within days, the media descends on Praia de Luz. British tabloids, CNN, BBC, everyone's covering the story. The McCanns, both doctors, are thrust into the spotlight. Kate, clutching Madeleine's cuddle cat, makes emotional pleas. But the coverage isn't all sympathetic. Some outlets question why the parents left the kids alone. Others speculate wildly, from human trafficking to local predators. Social media, still new in 2007, starts buzzing with theories. A Reddit post from r/truecrime years later sums it up. This case feels like a puzzle with half the pieces missing. The media frenzy helps spread the word, but also muddies the investigation. When everyone's talking, it's hard to hear the truth. By late May, the police are under pressure. They've got no solid leads, and the media is pointing fingers. They start looking at the McCanns themselves. Kate and Jerry are made persons of interest in September 2007. The decision shocks the world. A British sniffer dog detects traces of blood and cadaver scent in the apartment, and a rental car the McCanns used weeks later. The evidence is controversial. DNA tests are inconclusive. Kate and Jerry insist they're innocent, but the suspicion lingers. Here's the thing. Once doubt creeps in, it's hard to shake. As months pass, theories pile up. Some say Madeleine was taken by a local predator who saw an opportunity. Others point to a burglary gone wrong. Maybe someone broke in, panicked, and took her. Then there's the trafficking angle. Portugal's location makes it a possible hub. On Reddit, users on r/unsolved mysteries debate a darker theory. Could the McCanns have been involved? They cite Kate's refusal to answer 48 police questions, though her lawyers say it was to protect the investigation. Each theory feels plausible, but none feels certain. It's like chasing shadows. Every theory pulls you in, but none lead to Madeleine. The McCanns don't sit still. They launch a massive campaign, hiring private investigators and raising funds through their Find Madeleine website. Celebrities like J.K. Rowling and David Beckham back the cause. By 2008, they're traveling to meet with police in Spain, Morocco, even the Vatican. Sightings of Madeleine pour in from around the world. A girl in Morocco, another in Sweden. Each lead is chased, but none pan out. The effort is staggering, but it's also exhausting. How do you keep hope alive when every clue fades? It's a search that feels endless, like looking for a star in the daytime. By 2008, the Portuguese police shelved the case, citing no new evidence. The McCanns are cleared as suspects, but the damage is done. Public opinion is split. Some see them as grieving parents. Others whisper accusations. The media keeps the story alive, but leads dry up. Kate writes a book in 2011, Madeleine, detailing their pain and resolve. Jerry keeps pushing for answers, meeting with Scotland Yard. But without new evidence, the case stalls. It's a limbo that feels cruel. What's worse than losing someone? Not knowing where they are. In 2011, Scotland Yard launches Operation Grange, a new investigation funded by the UK government. They review thousands of documents and chase old leads. In 2013, they release e-fit sketches of suspects, including a man seen near the apartment. They also explore a theory about a series of burglaries in the area, suggesting Madeleine might have been taken by mistake. The investigation costs millions, but no arrests are made. It's a flicker of hope, but it's faint. Every new lead feels like a spark, but none catch fire. In June 2020, a new suspect emerges. Christian Bruckner, a German drifter with a history of sexual offenses and burglaries. He lived in the Algarve between 1995 and 2007, near Praia de Luz. Police say he was in the area the night Madeleine disappeared, based on phone records. He's in prison for unrelated crimes, but he's not charged in this case. The evidence is circumstantial, but it's the strongest lead in years. On r/true crime, users debate, is this the guy or another dead end? After so long, could the truth finally be close? This case isn't just about clues or suspects. It's about what it does to people. Kate and Jerry have lived in a spotlight of grief and suspicion for years. Kate's spoken about the guilt of that unlocked door, the weight of what if. The public's obsession on Reddit, on X, shows how we grapple with mysteries. We want answers, but we also fear them. What if the truth is worse than not knowing? This case forces us to face that question. Madeleine McCann's disappearance is a wound that won't heal. It's been nearly 2 decades, and we're still asking the same questions. Was it a stranger? A mistake? Or something we can't bear to think about? The truth is out there, somewhere. But it's buried deep. It's June 4th, 2010, in Portland, Oregon. A second grader named Kyron Horman, just 7 years old, walks into Skyline Elementary School, excited for a science fair. He's wearing a black CSI t-shirt, glasses perched on his nose, a big smile for his project about red-eyed tree frogs. His stepmother snaps a photo, the last known image of him. By the end of the day, Kyron is gone. No trace, no answers. Just a void that's haunted his family and a nation for 15 years. What happened to Kyron? Was it a stranger? Someone close? Or something else entirely? I'm digging into this mystery because the questions keep pulling me back. Kyron Horman is a shy, curious kid with brown hair, blue eyes, and a distinctive V-shaped birthmark on his forehead. Born September 9th, 2002, to Desiree Young and Kane Horman, he's raised in Portland, a city of green hills and quiet suburbs. His parents split before he's born, but both stay involved. By 2010, Kyron lives with his father, Kane, and stepmother, Terry Horman, along with their toddler, Kiara. On this morning, Terry drives Kyron to Skyline Elementary for the science fair. He's thrilled, showing off his frog display. Terry takes a photo at 8:45 a.m., capturing Kyron's proud grin. It's a normal day, or so it seems. How does a regular school morning vanish into a nightmare? Terry says she watches Kyron walk toward his classroom around 8:45 a.m., then leaves the school. The science fair is bustling. Parents, kids, teachers milling about. Gina Zimmerman, the PTA president, sees Kyron with Terry earlier, but no one recalls seeing him after. He's marked absent from class, but no one notices until later. At 3:30 p.m., Terry and Kane wait at the bus stop. The driver says Kyron never boarded. They call the school, then 911. Panic sets in. Kyron's gone and the clock is ticking. Police swarm Skyline Elementary by evening. Over 1,300 volunteers join the largest search in Oregon history. Helicopters, dogs, and divers scour the rugged hills around the school and nearby Sauvie Island. Kyron's description Black CSI shirt, black cargo pants, black Skechers with orange trim. Goes out to the public. Tips flood in. Over 4,000 eventually. The family releases a statement on June 9th. Please search your properties, cars, sheds, outbuildings. But here's the thing. No trace of Kyron is found. No backpack, no glasses, nothing. When a child disappears, where do you even start looking? Kyron's family is thrust into the spotlight. Desiree Young, his mother, lives in Medford, but rushes to Portland. Kane, his father, is an intel engineer, steady but shaken. Terry, the stepmother, draws attention. She's the last to see Kyron, and her story raises questions. She says she ran errands after leaving the school. Fred Meyer, the gym, driving Kiara around for an earache. But her timeline has gaps. On r/truecrime, a user later writes, Terry's story feels off, but is it enough to point fingers? The police start digging deeper. Suspicion creeps in when answers don't add up. By late June, a bombshell drops. A landscaper, Rodolfo Sanchez, tells police Terry offered him money to kill Kane 5 months before Kyron vanished. He says she approached him in January 2010, offering a lot of money. Police wire Sanchez to confront Terry, but she denies it, calling 911 when he shows up. No charges are filed, but the accusation shifts the case. On June 28th, Kane files for divorce and gets a restraining order against Terry. He takes Kiara and moves out. Terry's behavior, calm, detached, fuels suspicion. She fails 2 polygraphs, then refuses a third. What's more chilling? The accusation or the silence that follows? Police turn to Dee Dee Spiker, Terry's friend. On June 4th, Spiker was gardening at a property in northwest Portland. She allegedly left for 90 minutes, unaccounted for, though she insists she never left. She helped Terry buy a burner phone after Kane moved out. In July, she's subpoenaed by a grand jury but refuses to answer over 140 questions in a 2012 deposition, pleading the fifth. On r/unsolved mysteries, a user posts, Spiker's silence screams guilt, but of what? Her role is murky, but the police keep her in their sights. By mid-June, the case turns from a missing person search to a criminal investigation. The FBI joins, interviewing hundreds of students and parents. They focus on Terry's truck, a white Ford pickup seen at the school. 2 witnesses claim they saw someone in it that morning. Police search Sauvie Island again, but won't say why. By November, costs hit $1.4 million, with 4,257 tips, but no breakthroughs. Desiree Young tells a news conference, Kyron's still out there. We need answers. The trail feels cold, but the pressure's on. Terry Horman, now Terry Vasquez, after remarrying, becomes the case's focal point. She moves to Roseburg, then California, staying quiet. In 2016, on Dr. Phil, she says, I was advised not to say anything. I've always wanted to, she claims. A man in a white pickup acted strangely near a 7-Eleven, hinting at a kidnapping. But her story shifts, and she's never charged. Desiree, relentless, says on X, Terry knows something. She's not telling. 4 witnesses, Desiree claims, saw Terry lead Kyron to her truck that morning. The truth stays out of reach. Silence can be louder than words. Desiree Young keeps Kyron's case alive. She organizes fundraisers, like the Kyron Horman car show, inspired by a family outing Kyron loved. She speaks at True Crime Fest Northwest in 2024, building a case against Terry. I know she's involved, Desiree says. Kyne echoes her, telling KGW in 2025, "We thought this would be solved quickly." They hold vigils, like one on June 1st, 2025, at Skyline Elementary. Desiree's backyard, Kyron's pad, is filled with frog decorations, a tribute to his favorite animal. Their pain fuels their resolve. How do you keep going when hope feels so thin? Portland rallies around Kyron. Billboards with his face line highways. The wall of hope at a fire station becomes a symbol of persistence. Volunteers search forests, rivers, and fields. The Kyron Horman Foundation, started by Desiree, raises funds for searches. On r/truecrime, a user writes, "This case hits hard because it's a kid, and it's so close to home." Tips still come in, over 4,000 by 2025. A $50,000 reward remains. The community's heart breaks, but they don't stop looking. When a town searches together, does it heal or just hurt more? In 2025, as the 15th anniversary nears, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office digitizes the case files. The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit plans to re-examine evidence, looking for patterns. District Attorney Nathan Vasquez promises a fresh eyes review. Sheriff Nicole Morrissey O'Donnell says, "We've never stopped searching for Kyron." Advances in digital forensics and geospatial tech offer hope, but no answers yet. Desiree tells KPTV, "It's sad, but life keeps going, even though you want to stay in 2010. The case is still active, but time weighs heavy. The past holds tight, but can it let go? What happened to Kyron? Theories swirl. Some believe Terry orchestrated it, maybe with Spiker's help, though no hard evidence sticks. Others think a stranger abducted him during the science fair's chaos. On r/unsolved mysteries, a user posts, "Could Kyron still be alive, taken far away?" The lack of physical evidence, no body, no belongings, fuels hope and dread. Rebecca Morris, author of Boy Missing, The Search for Kyron Horman, notes a 6-hour gap before Kyron's absence was reported. Was it a planned act or a tragic impulse? No one knows. What's worse, not knowing or imagining the worst? Kyron's case changes lives. Desiree becomes an advocate, speaking at law enforcement events, counseling other parents. Kane keeps Kyron's room ready, a painful reminder. The community grapples with distrust. Schools tighten security. Parents hover closer. On X, a user writes, "Kyron's case shows how one day can break everything." The psychological toll is immense. For the family, for Portland, for anyone following the case. 15 years later, Kyron's smile in that science fair photo haunts us. A reminder of what's lost. Kyron Horman's disappearance is a wound that won't close. A boy, a school, a moment, and then nothing. Was it his stepmother, a stranger, or something we haven't even imagined? The questions linger, heavy as Portland's rain. It's April 2009, and the internet is changing how we live. Craigslist, a digital classifieds board, connects strangers for everything: jobs, apartments, even casual encounters. But in a Boston hotel room, something dark is unfolding. A young man, charming and polished, hides a secret that will shatter lives. His name is Philip Markoff, and he's about to be known as the Craigslist killer. How does a medical student with a bright future become a predator? What drives someone to live two lives, one in the open, one in the shadows? I'm piecing together this chilling story because the truth is stranger and scarier than you might think. It's April 10th, 2009, in Boston's Back Bay. Trisha Leffler, a 29-year-old masseuse, posts an ad on Craigslist offering her services. She gets a response from a man calling himself Andy. He sounds polite, professional. They agree to meet at the Westin Copley Place Hotel. Trisha arrives, expecting a routine job. But the man at the door isn't what he seems. He pulls a gun, ties her up with zip ties, and robs her of cash and credit cards. She's terrified, but unharmed. He leaves quickly, vanishing into the night. Trisha reports it to the police, describing a clean-cut guy in his 20s, tall, blonde. It's a strange crime, but it's just the beginning. Here's the thing. One small ad opened a door to something sinister. 4 days later, April 14th, 2009, another woman responds to a Craigslist ad. Julissa Brisman, 25, is a part-time model and masseuse. She meets a client at the Marriott Copley Place, just blocks from the Westin. The man, again calling himself Andy, seems normal at first. But things turn deadly fast. A struggle breaks out. Julissa fights back, but he overpowers her, shooting her 3 times and bludgeoning her head. She's found dead in a room. The police are stunned. The crime scene shows a calculated attack. Zip ties, duct tape, a gun. This isn't a random robbery anymore. It's murder. On April 16th, just 2 days after Julissa's murder, another attack. Cynthia Melton, an exotic dancer, meets a client at a Holiday Inn in Warwick, Rhode Island. He found her through a Craigslist ad. The man, young and well-dressed, pulls a gun, ties her up, and steals her money. But a noise spooks him, and he flees. Cynthia escapes, shaken but alive. She describes the same guy. Tall, blonde, clean cut. Police connect the dots. 3 attacks in 6 days, all linked to Craigslist. The media dubs him the Craigslist killer. Boston's on edge, and the hunt is on. 3 women, 3 crimes, one shadow moving through them all. Boston police dive into the case. They've got a pattern. Women offering services on Craigslist, targeted in hotels. Surveillance footage from the Marriott shows a man leaving Julissa's room, tall, blonde, wearing a baseball cap. The same guy appears in footage from the Westin and Holiday Inn. But here's the thing. He's smart. He uses burner phones and fake email addresses. Still, detectives trace the emails to an IP address. It leads to a name, Philip Markoff, a 23-year-old medical student at Boston University. The police are shocked. This guy's no career criminal. He's got a fiancée, a bright future. Could he really be their killer? How does someone so ordinary hide something so dark? Philip Markoff seems like the last person you'd suspect. He's studying to be a doctor, engaged to Megan McAllister, a fellow med student. Friends describe him as charming, driven, even shy. He grew up in upstate New York, a good student from a stable family, but there are cracks. He's got gambling debts, racking up thousands at casinos. Some say he had a temper, hidden behind his polite smile. On Reddit's r/truecrime, users later speculate, was he living a double life? Or did something snap? The police don't know yet, but they're closing in. It's hard to believe someone so close to normal could be so far from it. On April 20th, 2009, police track Markov's car on Interstate 95. He's driving with Megan, heading to a casino. They pull him over, and he's calm, cooperative. At the station, they find evidence, zip ties, a gun hidden in a hollowed-out book, and Julis's underwear in his apartment. His fingerprints match those at the crime scenes. Megan's stunned, insisting he's innocent. But the evidence piles up. Markov's charged with murder, robbery, and kidnapping. The media goes wild. A clean-cut med student turned killer. It's a story that grips the nation. As the case unfolds, the question looms. Why? Markov had no criminal record, no obvious motive. Prosecutors dig into his life. He was under pressure, med school stress, mounting debts. Emails show he targeted women in Craigslist's erotic services section, posing as a client to lure them. But here's the problem. The crimes weren't just about money. Julis's murder was brutal, personal. Some experts suggest a need for control, a thrill-seeking side he kept hidden. On r/unsolved mysteries, a user posts, "He was a predator hiding in plain sight." Was that it? Or was there more? What pushes someone to cross that line, to destroy lives for no clear reason? By late April, Markov's face is everywhere. CNN, the Boston Globe, even international news. Headlines call him the Craigslist killer, painting him as a modern-day monster. His fiancée, Megan, defends him publicly, saying he's been framed. But the public's fascinated, horrified. How could a guy with everything, a career, a wedding planned, do this? Social media, still new in 2009, buzzes with theories. Some call him a sociopath. Others wonder if he was unraveling under pressure. The media storm makes it hard to see the truth clearly. The world was watching, but they only saw half the story. Prosecutors build their case. They've got DNA, fingerprints, and surveillance tying Markov to the crimes. The gun, a 9mm, matches the bullets in Julis's body. Zip ties found in his apartment match those used on Trisha and Cynthia. But Markov's defense argues the evidence is circumstantial. They point to his lack of history, his normal life. Meanwhile, police uncover more. Markov had contacted other women on Craigslist, setting up meetings he never followed through on. Was he planning more attacks? The thought is chilling. Every clue tightens the net, but the why stays out of reach. Megan McAllister stands by Markov, even after his arrest. She visits him in jail, writes emails proclaiming his innocence. Phil is a beautiful person, inside and out, she tells reporters. But cracks show. She cancels their wedding, planned for August 2009. Friends say she's in shock, unable to reconcile the man she loved with the accusations. On Reddit, years later, users debate. Did she know something, or was she just blindsided? Her denial adds another layer to this twisted story. How do you love someone when the evidence says they're a monster? Markov's trial is set for 2011. Prosecutors are ready with a mountain of evidence. But on August 15th, 2010, it all ends. Markov is found dead in his cell at Nashua Street Jail. He's taken his own life, using a plastic bag and a razor blade. He leaves behind a cryptic message scrawled in blood. Megan is innocent. The case closes, but answers don't come. Families of the victims, especially Julissa's, are left with grief and frustration. No trial, no closure. He took the truth with him, leaving only questions. Julissa Brisman's family mourns her loss. Her mother, Carmen, says, "She was bright, loving, full of life." Trisha and Cynthia rebuild, haunted by their encounters. Craigslist shuts down its erotic services section in 2010, citing safety concerns. The case sparks debates about online platforms and their risks. On r/truecrime, users still discuss it. Was Markov a serial killer in the making, or a one-off predator? The lack of a trial leaves gaps we'll never fill. It's a case that lingers, a warning about the shadows online. Some stories don't end, they just leave you wondering. Philip Markov's story is a puzzle with missing pieces. A med student, a killer, a man who fooled everyone, maybe even himself. What drove him? Control? Desperation? Or something deeper we'll never understand? If this case has you thinking, share your theory in the comments. Subscribe for more stories that stick with you, or check out another case on our playlist. Because some mysteries, they don't let go. What's the one question about this case that keeps you up at night? June 30th, 1999. A man's body is found decomposing in a Missouri cornfield far from home. In his pockets, 2 handwritten notes filled with codes no one can decipher, not even the FBI. This is Ricky McCormick's story. A murder wrapped in a puzzle that stumped everyone for 25 years. Was he a victim, a criminal, or something else? Let's try to unravel it. St. Charles County, Missouri. A farmer finds a body in a field, bloated from days in the heat. It's Ricky McCormick, 41, a local with a rough past. No clear cause of death, no witnesses, just 2 cryptic notes in his pockets. The scene feels off, like someone dumped him there. Why so far from where he lived? Something's not right. The notes are what make this case. Pages of letters and numbers, scribbled in a code no one can break. The FBI's top cryptographers tried for years. Nothing. Were they a message, a diary, or a red herring? Ricky wasn't known for being a genius. So where did these come from? It's like he carried a secret he couldn't share. Ricky was no saint, a high school dropout. He'd been in and out of trouble. Petty crimes, drugs, nothing major. He worked odd jobs, lived in St. Louis, and had a girlfriend and kids. But some whispered he was an informant. Maybe for the police or gangs. Did he know something dangerous? His life feels like a puzzle piece that doesn't fit. Police ruled it a homicide, but the trail was cold from the start. No bullet wounds, no clear trauma, just a body in a field. The notes were sent to the FBI, who called them unique and unsolvable. No suspects, no motive. Was it a drug deal gone wrong, or something bigger? The lack of answers is maddening. The notes have 30 lines of letters, numbers, and symbols. Some think it's a personal cipher, others a gang code. A Reddit post on r/truecrime suggests it could be drug trafficking shorthand. Cryptographers say it's not random, it has patterns, but no key. The idea that Ricky, a regular guy, wrote this is hard to believe. Was someone else involved? St. Louis in the 1990s was rough. Gangs ruled certain areas, and Ricky lived in one. Some theorize he was a low-level runner who crossed the wrong people. The notes could be drug orders or debts. But why leave them on him? It's like the killer wanted the notes found, but not understood. Another angle. Ricky was a snitch. Locals said he might have worked with police to avoid jail time. If he was feeding info on gangs or dealers, that's a motive. The notes could be his records, or a message to his handlers. But no one's confirmed he was an informant. It's all whispers, and that's what makes it eerie. The cornfield was 15 miles from Ricky's home. No car, no bus. He didn't walk there. Someone dumped him, likely after death. No footprints, no tire marks, just a body. The notes were folded in his pocket, not damaged. Was this a rushed job or a careful plan? The isolation of that field feels deliberate. What was Ricky thinking? If he wrote the notes, was he paranoid, obsessive, or just bored? If someone else did, were they framing him or sending a message? The psychology of a code no one can read is fascinating. It's like Ricky's mind, or someone else's, is locked away, taunting us. The FBI released the notes in 2011, hoping the public could help. Thousands tried. Codebreakers, amateurs, Reddit sleuths. Nothing. Some say the notes are gibberish, meant to mislead. Others think Ricky had a hidden talent for ciphers. The FBI still lists it as the top unsolved case. How does a code stay secret this long? In recent years, cryptographers revisited the notes with AI and new tech. Still no breakthrough. Ricky's family gave DNA, but no matches to suspects. A Reddit thread suggests the code might be a personal shorthand, unique to Ricky's life. But without context, it's a dead end. The notes are still online, daring someone to crack them. This case is a lock with no key. Was Ricky a victim of a random hit, a gang betrayal, or something stranger? The notes are the heart of it, his last words or someone else's. Until they're cracked, we're stuck. Somewhere, someone might know what they mean, or why Ricky died. Until then, it's a mystery that won't let go. Ricky McCormick's death is more than a murder, it's a riddle. 2 notes, a body in a field, and 25 years of silence. Maybe one day we'll crack that code, or find the truth another way. For now, it's a haunting question mark. Share your theory in the comments, subscribe for more, or watch another case on the channel. What do those notes mean? I'm still wondering. It's June 1977, and an Arizona businessman is found dead in the desert. A bullet in his head, his own gun nearby. Pinned to his underwear, a $2 bill with cryptic writing, Bible verses, names, and a map. Ruled a suicide, but nothing adds up. This is Charles Morgan's story. A case dripping with mafia ties, secret deals, and unanswered questions. Was he silenced? Or did he choose to disappear? Let's dig in. June 18th, 1977. A hiker finds a body in the Arizona desert near Tucson. It's Charles Morgan, 48, an escrow agent with a stable life. He's shot in the back of the head, his .357 Magnum beside him. No fingerprints on the gun. A $2 bill pinned inside his underwear has strange markings, names, numbers, a map to the spot. This wasn't a random death. Something's very wrong here. That $2 bill is the key. It's covered in handwritten notes, 7 Spanish names, a Bible verse, and a crude map leading to the body. A cryptic phrase, ecclesiastic, is scrawled on it. Was it a message, a warning, or a code? The bill feels like a piece of a bigger puzzle, one Charles carried to his grave. Charles was a family man, married with kids, running an escrow company in Tucson. But he had secrets. He testified against organized crime in a fraud case, hinting at mafia ties. Friends said he was nervous before his death, claiming he'd been threatened. Was he in over his head, or just paranoid? His normal life hid something darker. Here's the thing. Charles vanished 2 months earlier, in March 1977. He was gone 11 days, then returned with a wild story. He said he'd been kidnapped, tortured, and drugged in a hotel room. He couldn't speak, claimed his throat was burned with chemicals. Was it true, or a cover for something else? That first disappearance feels like a warning. Police called it suicide, but it doesn't fit. No fingerprints on the gun, no gunpowder residue on his hands. His car was nearby, keys in the ignition, but no signs of a struggle. The $2 bill's clues led nowhere. Names untraceable, map too vague. Was this staged to look self-inflicted? The rush to close the case feels suspicious. Tucson in the 70s was a hub for money laundering, and Charles's escrow work put him in the middle. He'd testified against mob figures tied to land fraud. Some think he was skimming or double-crossing them. A Reddit post on r/truecrime suggests he was a money mule who knew too much. Did the mafia silence him? Let's go back to that $2 bill. The names, possibly aliases, don't match anyone in Tucson. The Bible verse, Ecclesiastes 12, talks about death and judgment. The map points to the exact spot where Charles was found. Was it his writing, or someone planting a message? The bill feels like a taunt, daring us to figure it out. A few people saw Charles before he died. His wife said he was jumpy, always looking over his shoulder. A business partner claimed he'd mentioned dangerous people in his deals. A bartender saw him with a stranger days before, but no one followed up. These glimpses are fleeting, like trying to catch smoke. If he was in deep with the mob, he must have been terrified, trapped in a life he couldn't escape. Or was he playing a game, faking his fear for a bigger plan? The psychology of a man carrying a coded bill to his death is haunting. Did he know the end was coming? The police work was sloppy. They didn't test the gun for prints properly. The $2 bill was barely analyzed. Charles's family pushed for answers, but the case was closed as suicide in weeks. Some say law enforcement was paid off to look the other way. How do you ignore a bill pinned to a man's underwear? In the 2000s, cold case detectives reopened it. They tested the $2 bill for DNA. Nothing conclusive. Reddit sleuths keep the case alive, linking the names to possible cartel figures. A 2019 podcast got new tips, but no breakthroughs. The bill's map and verse remain a dead end. Why is this case so hard to crack? This case screams cover-up. Was Charles a victim of a mob hit? A government deal gone wrong? Or something personal? The $2 bill, the clean gun, the earlier kidnapping? It's like a story with missing pages. Someone knows the truth, but they're not talking. Charles Morgan's death is a desert mystery that won't let go. Some cases feel like they're hiding a bigger secret, and Charles Morgan's is one of them. A man, a bullet, a cryptic bill, and no answers. Maybe one day that $2 bill will speak, or someone will come forward. For now, it's a puzzle in the sand. Drop your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more, or watch another case on the channel. What happened to Charles? I'm still wondering. It's November 5th, 2009, at Fort Hood, Texas, one of the largest military bases in the world. Soldiers are preparing for deployment. Families are saying goodbyes, and the air hums with routine. But in a matter of minutes, gunfire will shatter the calm. 13 people will lose their lives, and dozens more will be wounded. The shooter? A U.S. Army psychiatrist, trusted to heal minds, not destroy lives. His name is Nidal Hassan. Why did he turn on his own? What drove a man of medicine to commit such horror? I'm unraveling this story piece by piece because the truth is as unsettling as it is complex. Fort Hood is a sprawling base, home to nearly 50,000 soldiers in 2009. It's a hub for troops heading to Iraq and Afghanistan. On this sunny Thursday, the Soldier Readiness Processing Center is busy. Soldiers line up for medical checks, paperwork, and vaccinations before deployment. Major Nidal Hassan, a 39-year-old Army psychiatrist, is among them. He's known for counseling soldiers with PTSD, helping them cope with the toll of war. But today, he's not here to help. He's carrying 2 handguns, one a semi-automatic FN-57. Something's about to go wrong. Here's the thing. Even in a place built for order, chaos can find a way. At 1:34 p.m., Hassan walks into the processing center. He's calm, unremarkable, blending in with his uniform. Then he climbs onto a desk, shouts Allahu Akbar, and opens fire. The room erupts in panic. Soldiers and civilians dive for cover, but bullets fly fast. Over 200 rounds in minutes. 13 people are killed, including a pregnant soldier, Francesca Velez, who pleads for her unborn child. 32 others are injured. The scene is chaos. Blood on the floor, screams echoing. 2 civilian police officers, Kimberly Munley and Mark Todd, rush in. They shoot Hassan, stopping him, but he survives, paralyzed from the waist down. Police and medics swarm Fort Hood. The base goes into lockdown. Wounded soldiers are rushed to hospitals while families wait in agony for news. The dead include soldiers, a civilian nurse, and a doctor. People who serve their country. Hassan is taken to a hospital, under guard, unable to walk. News spreads fast. A mass shooting on a U.S. military base by one of their own. The shock is visceral. On X, a post later captures it. How does a psychiatrist trained to save lives do this? The nation wants answers, and the investigation kicks into gear. Betrayal cuts deeper when it comes from within. Nidal Hassan was born in Virginia to Palestinian parents. He joined the army after medical school, becoming a psychiatrist. Colleagues describe him as quiet, devout, but troubled. He's vocal about his Muslim faith, which some say made him a target of harassment. By 2009, he's facing deployment to Afghanistan, a posting he dreads. He tells colleagues war conflicts with his beliefs. Emails later show he's been in contact with Anwar al-Awlaki, a radical cleric linked to Al-Qaeda. Was he radicalized or just unraveling? The pieces don't fit neatly. The FBI takes the lead, digging into Hassan's life. They find those emails to al-Awlaki, 18 messages discussing jihad and martyrdom. Hassan's computer shows searches for suicide attacks and soldier stress. Colleagues report he gave a presentation in 2007 praising martyrdom, alarming peers. But here's the problem. The army knew about his red flags. He'd been disciplined for pushing his views on patients, yet he kept his job. Why wasn't he stopped? The investigation raises as many questions as it answers. Prosecutors call it terrorism, saying Hassan was inspired by extremist ideology. The emails to Lawlaki suggest he saw himself as a soldier for a cause, targeting those he viewed as enemies of Islam. But others argue it's more personal: stress, isolation, fear of deployment. On r/truecrime, a user posts, "Was Hassan a terrorist or a man who snapped under pressure?" Psychologists point to workplace violence, amplified by ideology. His calm demeanor during the attack, though, feels calculated, chilling. The truth lies in a murky middle. The 13 who died were diverse: soldiers, civilians, young and old. Francesca Velez, 21, was 3 months pregnant, dreaming of motherhood. Michael Cahill, 62, was a physician's assistant who tried to stop Hassan. Aaron Nemelka, 19, was a private, eager to serve. Each left behind families, plans, lives. Survivors, like Patrick Ziegler, shot 4 times, face lifelong scars. Their stories, often overshadowed by Hassan's, are the heart of this tragedy. Families later say they feel forgotten, lost in the media's focus on the shooter. Fort Hood's leadership scrambles to respond. General Robert Cohn, the base commander, addresses the media, calling it a horrific outburst of violence. The army reviews its mental health programs, admitting gaps. Hassan's supervisors face scrutiny. Why didn't they act on his behavior? A 2010 Pentagon report calls for better threat detection, but critics say it's too late. On X, a user writes, "The army failed its own people." The base, a symbol of strength, feels vulnerable, exposed. Hassan's court-martial starts in August 2013. He represents himself, admitting from the start, "I am the shooter." He claims he acted to protect Taliban fighters from US soldiers, an argument the judge limits. Prosecutors present overwhelming evidence: bullet casings, witness accounts, his own words. Survivors testify, their pain raw. Hassan barely cross-examines, offering no real defense. The trial feels like a formality, but for victims' families it's a chance to face him. The courtroom is tense, heavy with grief. On August 23, 2013, Hassan is convicted on 13 counts of murder and 32 counts of attempted murder. The jury, 13 army officers, deliberates for hours. 5 days later, they sentence him to death. He's sent to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, awaiting execution, though appeals drag on. Families of the victims feel mixed relief. It's not closure, but it's something, says Jolene Cahill, widow of Michael Cahill. On r/True Crime, users debate, does the death penalty fit, or is it too easy? Fort Hood changes after 2009. Security tightens. Mental health screenings increase. But trust is hard to rebuild. Survivors like Patrick Ziegler struggle with PTSD, physical scars. Families push for recognition. The Army initially calls it workplace violence, not terrorism, denying victims certain benefits. After years of advocacy, it's reclassified in 2015, granting Purple Hearts. The base holds memorials, but the wound lingers. On X, a post reads, Fort Hood showed us even heroes aren't safe. The tragedy reshapes how we see military life. This case forces us to think. What drives someone to betray their oath? Was Hassan radicalized? Or was he a broken man lashing out? The Army's failure to act on warning signs raises questions about oversight. And what about the victims, whose stories are often drowned out? On r/True Crime, a user sums it up. This wasn't just about Hassan. It's about a system that missed the signs. The psychological weight of war, faith, and isolation collide here, leaving us to wonder, could this happen again? The Fort Hood shooting is a wound that hasn't closed. 13 lives were taken, countless others changed, by a man who was supposed to help, not harm. Why did he do it? Ideology? Despair? Or something we'll never fully grasp? If this case has you thinking, drop your theory in the comments.